Is it working? How are we doing? Okay, greetings to one and all. It's your old buddy Jay here, coming at you with some technical difficulties. Trying to be too clever for my own good. Here I was, all set and ready to do my next stream, and my Mac just decided that it wasn't going to be happy with the Wi-Fi on this one, so I had to just rip out all of the Ethernet cables and plug it all in again. So I just want to make sure this is all on. Yeah, okay. So thanks for tuning in if you're watching. I don't think I've got anyone in yet. I know some people were waiting, but I think I've jumped onto another stream now, so perhaps they'll see it another time or whatever. But anyway, hope all is well. It hasn't been quite a week since I did the last one, and I'm quite keen to sort of get into doing more of my drawing, of which I've been doing quite a lot this week. So I got some digital drawing that I wanted to do today, and particularly some colouring for a book that I'm working on, which comes out in November. And because I've got that going on, I kind of thought, well, I'm just going to get my head down and get on with it. And then I thought, well, actually I could turn it into part of the stream as well, because it's good to kind of change things up. Last time we did like a kind of warm-up drawing. This time I thought maybe I could show you how I handle drawings to ink to then getting it onto screen, and then what I do from there in order to prep it for ready for print. So I've actually got several cameras on the go at the moment. So this is the J cam. Hello. And basically what that means is that when I switch to this one, which in theory I should now be able to go into this. There we go. Yeah, so basically, as you'll see, there's like an infinite number of me now. But what I thought I would do is set this up so that I've got the J cam. This one I like to call the chin cam, because it gets a nice flattering shot of my ever-aging chicken gullet here. And then obviously what I've managed to do is hook this all up so that I've actually got my Wacom Cintiq on screen as well. So there's like 2 of me and 3 of me if you count the kind of the movement on here as well. But anyway, there you go. It was the only way I could think to do it, which is like a kind of shot of me actually seeing me do it, but then also the J cam obviously, and then actually seeing what's far more interesting than my face. But what I wanted to do was maybe go through that in a bit. I'm going to switch back to this one now. Do let me know if there's any issue with sound. I was having some technical difficulties to start with. Let me just see if that's still working okay. I managed to mute it. Yeah, okay, I think that's working alright now. Apologies for the chopping around. I'm still sort of relatively new to live streaming. Normally what I've done in the past is I've been able to, like, you know, do drawings and stuff and whatever, and then I can edit them all down and tidy them up, whereas this is just all over the place. So that's that. So like I started last week, today was comic book day. I'm going to take these off just for a second. Looking a bit wrinkly today. Right, so today's comic book day, so I thought what I would do is actually go through my pull list like I did last time, which seemed to be quite a good start to things, being as it's all about comics. Actually, I will put my glasses back on. Things are getting old. I've got a whole stack of books here which I picked up today, which is all very exciting. First ones I'll go through standard weekly for 2000 AD. That's just come out today, so I'm still picking those up. Actually, that is that last week's? No, that's actually last week's. This week's is here. Sorry, this is this week's. So all new stories start inside, according to this one, and there's a whole load of new art and things going on in here. It was also £1 extra. I guess it's like a bumper issue. £4.99 now. I think I used to pay 17p, but there you go. And then I still get Judge Dredd the magazine. I remember when this came out years and years ago, when it very first came out. I've got issue 1 somewhere actually, but it's just a bit more grittier. The stories are a little bit longer, and there's a little bit more grown-up stuff going on in it, which I quite like. And one thing I wanted to say, which I do like about a lot of magazines these days, and especially with things like 2000 AD, is that from a sort of branding point of view, a bit like GQ and Loaded and all those style magazines that come out now, you know these logos off by heart, so the art can start to interfere with them and it doesn't matter. Some brands are very particular about that, but for me, like, something's indented and ingrained into the mind of the public, people that buy it, based on how much of this they can get away with. Look, Judge Dredd's gun's kind of blowing off the end of the logo stamp there, the little icon. So I think that's quite nice. I don't know if it's just a trick of the light, and I think that's why I had this one before, but probably can't see it, but it feels like this has been tweaked ever so slightly. It might just be that it's red and this is white, but I felt like there was a little bit of tightening up there, or this felt a little bit fatter. Might just be the print, but I felt like there was something going on there where they might have just nudged the logo slightly. Could be coinciding with the kind of all new issue, new stories, etc. So the other thing that I did pick up, and I still haven't read issue 1 actually, but Heavy Metal issue 2. I used to get this back in the day. This is big in the 80s and 90s. I mean, Heavy Metal was basically like a grown-ups comic. This is the first time I've seen one where it hasn't got like a busty woman on the front of it in some kind of fantasy art drawing. So, actually I've immediately flicked to that. But yeah, it's just a little bit more grown-up stories in that. I just really like the variety of art that's going on in these things. Sorry, the J-cam's not very good for showing stuff off like my other desk, but this one in particular is have to hold it up, but there you go. So the other issue that I picked up today was Batman and Deadpool. Have no idea what this is about, haven't even looked in it, but I just like the plain red cover for some reason. Just appealed to me. Battle Beasts 5. This is a really good story. Again, Image, Robert Kirkman. It's all connected to the Invincible universe, so that's very good. I am reading Exquisite Corpses as well, which is also very, very good. The art's fantastic in that. Return to Skull Island isn't normally something that I would pick up. It feels a bit Disney, and the art inside feels a little bit Disneyfied to me. The reason I picked it up is because I'm a huge fan of Simon Furman, and yeah, he's been writing the story for this, and the story is very good. So the other one I wanted to show was this one, Simon Kudransky's No Man's Land. So this one is a bit of an anomaly among a lot of these books. Image, every week I go into the comic store, Image has got like 50 new #1s coming out. They always want to be selling you #1s or specials or whatever, so you feel like it's your first comic, you're picking it up for the first time, whatever. This particular one was a little bit out there because it's one of the first ones I've read for a while. Look, and it has this one-man art stamp on it, and I'm not quite sure what that is. Feel free to enlighten me. But, it was created, written, and drawn, illustrated, coloured by one person, which, if you know me, that's kind of my bag, and I'm sure like a lot of creatives out there that want to go down that path, seeing something like this is very positive, because I do like, you know, books that do this, that allow the artists to envisage the whole thing themselves. You know, I haven't read it yet. I only just flicked through the art. I really like the art and the way it was finished. I could see some heavy Photoshop work going on here. There's also a bit of a kind of, I'm getting a bit of a sort of jock vibe. You know, there's a lot of kind of heavy inks over silhouettes and people sitting in the shadows. But then you also have, I mean, you know, there's a lot of, I don't know, just getting a little bit of influence there. And also, there's a lot of photo reference in here, which I'm not always a big fan of. I can tell you when someone's used a photo reference and when they haven't. It's just one of those things that just kind of, you immediately see it or you don't. But there's a combination of that going on in there. I think that probably means that it's a labour of love and there's a lot of work that's gone into it, so I'm looking forward to reading that one. I was a huge Action Force fan. Again, I've mentioned, I'm looking down here, but I should be looking at that. I've mentioned I'm a big Simon Furman fan. I've been a big Jeff Senior fan. In fact, you can't quite see it. Maybe if I angled that. I've got an original Jeff just here on my wall. That's, you can't really see it, but anyway, I'm a huge fan, so you know, this has nothing to do with either of those guys, but because of their writing in the 80s, I've continued to be a fan of Action Force, which then became G.I. Joe, or rather it was G.I. Joe in America and then became Action Force over here. So I've been rereading this since they rebooted it from issue 1. Again, Skydance, let's pick this up, it's all related to Image. Yeah, very good. So the other one I got today was number 24 of the Transformers story. So Daniel Warren Johnson, I always call him Darren. Very good run on this, and obviously he sort of dropped off doing quite so much art from about issue 10, I think. Won loads of awards, like all the Eisner Awards and all the kind of, you know, I mean, they're reselling issue sort of 1 to 10. I mean, they've been reprinted so many times in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. It's actually unbelievable. And the other thing, continuing on from that, is that they did reprint the original issue 1, which came out about, it's got to be like 16 months ago or something, but it has a sound chip in it. Did you get that? Anyway, it is a reprint of issue 1. Just has this fancy cover on it. Yeah, it's got all the usual art and stuff in here, and well worth checking out. Yeah. Anyway, it's nothing you haven't read before. It just has a gimmicky sound chip in it, and I thought, well, that's probably going to be really crap, isn't it? But actually, it's really good, and it makes a cool... Does it only do it twice, and then it never works again? It's not working. What's happened? Well, maybe I only get to do it twice. We'll try it again in a bit. Maybe it's because I didn't have that in it, and it doesn't realise it's shut. Anyway. That was well worth the money paid. Anyway, so what I thought I'd do, that's my pull list for the week. I thoroughly recommend that No Man's Land book. I keep banging on about that. It does look very good. Don't blame me if it's a bad read, but actually from what I can see, it does look really fun. So, skipping on from that, obviously I've got some work to do. So I'm going to switch over to the chin cam. Yep, there it is, blue. And get into this here. So basically what this is, just make sure that this is working okay. I've got you up on the screen over here as well, just to make sure that this is actually sticking with it live. Yeah, there we go, that's actually working. Can't quite believe it. I sort of bodged all this together in about half an hour thinking it would go wrong, and it almost did, but it's fine now. So I'm working on a book. Actually, let me just turn this down a second. Just bear with me, you can put that down a bit. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I'm working on this book called Beyond the Black Void, which basically is, if you watch the first live stream, you know all about it. if you didn't, then in a nutshell, it is a book that I'm putting together with a whole group of artists and writers. It's an anthology of stories. The Black Void is like this place where it's a little bit like the Twilight Zone. It's a little bit like Future Shocks, if you've ever read that in 2000 AD. It's like weird, spooky science stories, and a excuse for a whole load of artists and writers to get together and just basically publish our work as a collective. You know, the most expensive business card you'll ever have, I guess, but it's been a lot of fun. I've got to work with a lot of really cool people, and I made some friends that I can see maybe potentially turning into other work in the future, which is really interesting. And as part of that, there's a character in the book called Nyx, and Nyx is like this little like mite demon thing that's lives on the edge of the void and basically presents each of the stories. So in the first book, it's about 80 pages, and it has 9 different stories in it. And over the course of the stories, some of them are 4 pages, some are 10. You know, it's a whole collection of different stories that make up the 80 pages. At the start of each story, there's a different drawing of Nyx doing something that's related to that story. So there's a story about space and spaceships. In this particular image, she is got a space helmet on. So there's that, and obviously there's a whole load more here which I was going to get into later, but you know, there's one where it's like a kind of Superman send up. So you know, she's obviously sort of wearing her cape and flying. She's got these crazy sort of horns which came from I was watching oh God, what's it called, Krampus, a few Christmases ago, and I just really liked the horns, and when I was drawing her, it just sort of felt like a natural connection there of that kind of demon-esque living in this sort of void of nothingness, which is where she does live. So yeah, there was a sort of tentative connection there, which I quite liked. So in order to kind of move her along, what I've had to do is I drew scamps, I drew pencils. I don't have any pencils in here actually that I can show you, but if I can actually fire up my Windows, let's have a little look. Let's get all my drawing bits up. Okay, so so what I'm going to do is essentially just colour this. So there'll probably be a quiet time where you're very bored tuning into that. But essentially, I need to colour her, put shading through her. I've already done some flats, and I've already put a texture through her already, but I'll show you that in just a second. Before I do that, I just want to explain what I'm doing here. So this is a Wacom Cintiq tablet. I've been drawing on it. Well, I draw pencil and pen and ink traditionally, and then I'll scan those things in and tidy them up digitally, maybe on an iPad if I'm doing the flat colors, but then when it comes down to doing the kind of the finer points and the coloring and the shading and the detail that needs a little bit more attention, the iPad is very good, but you can't beat the Cintiq. I mean, I've had this for probably 7 or 8 years, and it was quite an expensive piece of kit, but the first job I ever did on it paid for it. So ever since then, it's been sitting in my office, and every time I'm doing something else, I look at it and think, oh, I should be doing something on that. That would be fun. And now I've got a lot more projects where I am doing exactly that, and this is one of them. So Cintiq, it's all touchscreen with the pen. It isn't actual like the old Apple touchscreens, but I do have this very useful Tartarus razor, which I'm going to show you here. I'm looking at it, obviously you can't see it. And essentially what that is a very boiled down keyboard, which I've bound different instructions to each of the keys to help me, you know, control what's going on with these guys. So we've got all the zooms and we've got all the things, and then I can flip through my screens and all that kind of stuff. Now, because I set this up ages ago, my fingers do what they do. I've had to put my cheat sheet down here because I bound some of the things that I don't very often use to some of the keys. Couldn't remember what they are. Anyway, I have my cheat sheet here, so if I'm referring to that, it's partly to do with being an amateur, but it's also massively partly to do with my memory is like, it's like an old 1920s hard drive, and it's absolutely full right now. So the fact that I couldn't remember that is you know, it's just one of those things. Now when I'm on my Mac and I've got like mouse and keyboard, that's fine. It just everything just flows. But you know, when I'm on this, it's a slightly new piece of kit that I'm still working out. So yeah, so it's incredibly useful. So and I'll show you how that sort of fits in with this workflow. Now let me just pull these layers out a sec. So on here, what you've got is oh, we're cooking on gas now. Look, I remembered both of those key commands. So what I've got here is, here's Nyx. She's got her gear on. She's wearing the space helmet with her horns punched through. I did do some flats on her, so she's got, I sort of gave the helmet a single color. I believe she's got some white eyes. What else have we got going on here? Yeah, so the color of her is this kind of muted blue-green, and then she has a texture running through her. So if I zoom in on that now, you'll see she has this like almost like scale texture that I created. So basically it makes her feel a little bit more lizard-like, like she might have, you know, if you were to like run your hand on her tail, it would feel like that kind of bumpy mollusk feel, which I quite liked. I wanted it to be like semi-transparent as well, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to get that effect off on this. And then when I've illustrated something and then it's inked, once it's scanned in, obviously you're scanning in the blacks to a certain level, right? So the depth of those blacks can actually start to degrade slightly. So you start to get a lot of grays going on in here. Now what that means is that when that goes to repro, the blacks will print at like a kind of 90, 80, 70% black, which means you'll end up with a grey and not a lot of definition. So what I'd like to do is actually, I'll duplicate the layer, select the black, flood the black with a high mix of cyan, yellow, magenta and black, and then what happens is you get a much stronger definition of what those blacks will be when printed. So look, you'll see there's a very subtle difference when you're turning them on and off, but it does just add a little bit more line weight and a little bit more definition, which, you know, at the scale she's going to be printed, which is probably in real life, I've just lost track of what I'm doing with my things. Here we go. She's probably going to be like that big, maybe a bit smaller. So you don't want too much detail going on, but I still want to make sure that that black, see, like even at that scale, when I do it like that, you can see the subtle difference in that. Don't know if that's being picked up on screen, but that's that. So yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work in, I want this to be white. I need to work out a kind of pattern that's going to run through here, but I didn't want that to be black and become too overpowering on her. So I think I'm going to put in some bone work that's more of this lighter texture, just to give that a little bit of je ne sais quoi, or as they say in France, I don't know what. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to crank the music up for a minute, and then I'm going to just crack on with this. Oh, highly technical, as you can see. Tools are over here. Let's just reset. There we go. my zoom. Got a little fly buzzing around me as well. Yeah. Okay. I'll actually start doing something on that. Much more accurate than the iPad. It can get really in deep on these. Okay, what I want to do as well is I want to swap this. So what I tend to do with a lot of these is like the main drawings, I'll do the flats on do it on the iPad, because basically that's really easy and very accurate just to get those flat colours. I probably should have done this with that too, but the truth is just that I'm still kind of working out the colour scheme for this character, so I'm still doing it here. Make sure that's all on the screen as well. Okay, let's see. Comfortable here. I'm going to need my trusty friend here. This is Owly. I see on his face. Oh, forgot one important thing. I do occasionally wear this funny little glove. For no other reason than it looks cool in 80s, obviously. Brush. Now I'm going to switch my brush. That inking brush is very good. Actually, let's just crank that up a sec and get some good pressure on there. So quite like those. Let's go back to the stream. Skip those. Okay, so what I'm going to do now. I keep going to use my fingers. 17. Just bring that right down. How skinny is that? Yeah, kind of skinny. That's about 20. So colour-wise, it needs to be lighter. This. Just use a nice spot value. Do that. Maybe it's stuck on doing the layer. Yeah, I think it's just not selecting through the layers. Just see settings I have to fiddle with. so close to the weight. Let's just change that. Scrap that. Do it again. It's not quite right. Yeah, okay. So let's deselect here. Paintbrush. I'm going to pull that down to 15. It's just getting a bit too big, and I want to make them more cylindrical, I think. So let's do that. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's better. I wonder if it needs to be fatter. Yeah, I think that's alright. Yeah, I like the fact that it's a little bit random. But also what I want to do is done that. I'll just take that. Just cut those a bit. Okay. Just going to make a note of those brush widths. So it's 20 brush. What are we doing for this? 27. Eraser, okay. I'll just make those notes so that when I do the next ones, they'll be consistent. Okay, right, so let's get some white into this helmet now. Now, where are we? Okay. So, take my select tool now. Does this look good? Okay. Just try that again. Selected everything that's grey. That's my involved option. Usually do that on the keyboard. Never remember where the key commands are on the menu. I'm used to just using a normal keyboard to do that and a mouse, but I've seen that today. Right, let's see. Let's put this into the laser. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's take a nice big brush. Just highlight the front of that. Let's get rid of that. Yep. Make that a bit smaller. Okay, it's starting to look pretty good. Okay, now what I've just realised is I didn't do his toenails. Scrap that. Okay. Right, so we'll do another layer. Again, this one we are going to make a bunch of some white. Just going to go in. Those highlights. Just make it just a little bigger. The more random, the better. pressure sensitivity. Nails in. What did I say eraser was? 9. So let's go back into the texture. What I'm going to do is just cut that, save that. Yeah. That's what it is. Inventing these palettes as I go along, basically. Do end up going back and forth to start with, just to get them right. But when I'm doing the other 25 of these, or however many there are, palette all sorted, so that's useful forever, right? Okay, and those whites, I think that's fine. It's okay to be a bit more with those. Yeah. Nope. How's the chin cam doing? Yep, not shaving any pounds off. What are we doing for time? It's 10:30, alright. So we'll go for an hour, I've hardly done anything. Okay, so that's the base colour for those. I don't want too much detail on her. She already has, I think. Don't want her sitting in any drop shadows. She's going on really wide. So I think what we'll do next, I'm going to put a layer over the top of this. Yep, multiply that. We're going to switch to black. Get my. Now the question is which brush. Dictate how all the rest look. Got some good half-tone images here. Final splatter. Concept brush. No, it's leaves. Leave it out. Okay, let's see. These charcoal pencils are no good. Alright, let's go back to that one. I think it's probably right. I'm just going around the houses. Yeah, let's go with that for now. I can always change my mind another 100 times. Let's do that. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Doesn't just need to be that plain. It's an important decision. Alright, let's stick with the inking brush. Let's go with the first one. Alright. Feet first, I think. So we don't need to worry about any shading on the actual background, so what I'll do is just put that right back on. Let's get to work on this. So I think we'll probably be in a bit more shadow here. Hello. Sound bubble, of course. That's my shift key. Yeah. Right. Shift key should get a different. That's better. The shape of that brush on my stylus was starting to get a bit right. There we go. Change it up to that key. Well, let's go back. Huh. So I have my other keyboard under here. Obviously I was just pressing down on all the keys. Let's take that out and that. Brush. Right one. 30, 20%. 30. Okay. Let's cut that. Cut right in there. Push that edge forward. that's the second. That's the 100%, please. Thank you. Oh, that was set to 81. No reason. Get away with it a little bit. Okay. Lint in your bolla. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it's starting to work. Let's just get why? Just pull it in here. I love these pressure washers, it's so good. I mean, that's why I bought this tablet in the first place, is to get those sticky thin lines. And then Apple obviously brought out the same, if not similar, on the iPad, but doesn't feel right on the iPad. Yeah. Let's see how we're doing. Just push this in here. So it's going to come round just back like that bit. Got a little key line on his inner, what did I say, 9. Being able to get that erase button that well is godsend. Just check that in there too. Okay, let's change the size of that. feel right, some of them don't. There you go, he's starting to see with just a bit more, just gives him a bit more depth. Or her, I should say. Now the light's coming from this angle, so we do need to put some in the horns. We're going to do that like this. I need the shift key. For some reason I can't. Put that into my key binding. I haven't done to yet. Okay. So, come on, you're there. Okay, so we want to multiply that. We want that also to be this. Brushes back on black. Back in black! Can go a bit more with this one. Let's see. There you go. Go like this. That's fine. That we definitely need. Magic number 9. Okay, that's looking alright. That's looking alright. Nice. Alright, let's do stuff like that. Zoom out and see what damage we've done. Yes. She's almost done. Almost. What am I missing? Not sure what these colours little chaps should be. I don't want to make them blue. I think that's fine. Let's leave that as it is. Where are you, little coloured dots? Right. Let's do that there. Let's put another red one in here. Just a little hot spot. Nope. Yeah. Wait. That's not what I want to do. Let's put it there. Okay. Magic number 9. Just do that. Okay. How's she looking? Alright. Yeah. Alright. Now. What am I doing? There we go. Okay, so what do we do now? So top of the black. Just want to try something. Okay, so later we'll go to brush, and then I do have a half tone that Just wondering if there needs to be a little bit of that in there. Now, where's my other half tone that will work? Yeah, that was it. That is so good. Keep forgetting that's just a standard brush size, isn't it? Don't want that. What I want is have a multitude of really awesome that's not it. Too close together. Go back to what I was doing before. This was the one I liked. Quite like for that. Let's try. That's too much of it for the finish to geometric nature of those, but it's not quite what I'm after. This is what I want, something like that. Too big. There is a place for those. This isn't there. Yeah, that's not either. No. Keep going back to those originals because I know they work really well. Make my brush much smaller. Yeah. It's not quite working. Yeah, I don't want that either. Now I'm torn. Nope. Do have some amazing manga fills though. My problem is too many brushes. Nope. Don't want half tones. Keep picking up the same ones, thinking they're going to do something different. What the screen tones have I got here? Yeah, they're not right either. I'm disappointed that I didn't. Okay, that could be close. Yeah, I think that might be it. Okay, let's go a bit bigger. What I want to do is just knock the opacity of Let's do that 50%. Just put a little bit in, just to give it just in those darkest areas. Just a little bit of texture. There we go. Not too much. Just, yeah, not there though. Yeah, okay. Be careful because it can sometimes flatten. What you're doing. No. Nope. Yeah. Okay, and then I want to do another layer. We'll just keep that 100%, but we'll run that through as black. Yeah, that looks pretty cool, if I do say so myself. Maybe we'll just do another half tone over. Oh yeah, that looks nice too. Yeah, okay. Let's come together. All right. Okay, so I think maybe that might be it. Yeah, I'm pretty chuffed with that. I think she's kind of like, I like the colour, not too much going on, nice sort of helmet thing going on. I might put a few more, do a bit more with the white. But I could do a bit more with the white. Let's just grab that brush before I forget which one it is. I'm going to stick that up here. Yeah, very good. Well, I think that is about it. So thanks very much for watching, if you are watching. I had a few streamers, nobody in the chat, but that's okay, it just distracts me anyway. That's what I say anyway. I'm going to do another one next week, hoping to have got these done as a set, and then I've got a shared load of other stuff to be working on that I just basically need to break the back of in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So I'll probably do a little bit more of this next week. I've got, in fact, let me just save this. Yeah, and I think we'll just save you there. Yeah, that's fine. So if we go cycle through these, so what I've got here is basically that one's done. See, I've got an unfinished drawing here which I've started colouring already. I think this might be a project for next week, so hopefully I will have pushed this a little bit further along and I can get to work on the final colours. But this is of Nick's in the library, so this is a double page spread, and I like this one because rather than have, you know, you go through books and you see all these different adverts for magazines, and if you like an artist or you don't like an artist or whatever, then you know they're just there and whatever, and they're always kind of like generic, showing the covers and things like that. And I'm always interested to see that, but to be honest with you, for me, like picking things up and reading them is how I engage with these things. So what I thought we'd do for this one, which I quite like, is that it's one big library here with Nick's reading the next issue of Beyond the Black Void. Third one's here, and then there's all of the different publications that artists and writers have worked on. So we're going to dot them all through here. And then we've got some of the items from the stories here, and then what I would like to do for the next one is maybe she's reading the next issue, she's maybe doing something different. Maybe Brian the bird here is doing something different. But we keep all these things, and then we'll have other items from newer stories. So gradually over time, all the shelves become full of all these bits, and the books kind of get removed. That's kind of my thinking behind it anyway. So we'll see how far it gets. But at the moment, it's still got some development work. There's still stuff going on here that I need to resolve, where there's some illustrations that need to go on, etc., etc. But all in all, this spread is kind of coming together quite nicely and is almost there. So that's next week's project, I reckon. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate it. And, like, subscribe, uh, etc., etc. And hopefully, I'll see you next time. So until next time, be good, stay safe, and be kind to one another. Peace out. We gone. Oh.